Welcome everyone to another RGL cast. My name is Jared. I'm here with TC Mono to bring you guys GlobalClan versus the Tub. This is RGL Invite 6's mini-season 2026 in the spring. This is week 1B. Not too many matches have gone on. You know, there's only so many teams, but we're here to catch the last bit of this week between two teams that honestly, they're pretty close. They got a lot of talent on their rosters as well, some new blood as well. So exciting. It's exciting all across the board. And, you know, there's still a lot to see, and you never know what will shake out after we see all these matches played. But this could be potentially a matchup to trump all matchups this season. So, TC, I'm really excited, and I can't wait to see how everything plays out here tonight on Gully Wash.
Yep, gonna be headed over to Gully Wash, and it's been a little bit since we've actually had some North American invite action. It feels like it's been a bit of a long off season. That's partially because this season is different than all the rest. As you're probably aware, it is a little bit of a mini season, so it's only going to be around about 4-ish weeks of actual action, maybe a little bit longer. As we were kind of discussing before we went live, Poland is happening, and there's quite a few players and teams that are going over there, so it might extend out. But aside from that, there was previously a map tournament that happened throughout all divisions, and after this there is going to be something a little bit special going on as well. But because of that, it's a shortened invite season, which means it's been a little bit of time since we've last been here, so it's great to be back. And with that, we have a few, like you said, new fresh faces, as we're going to be running down the rosters. And even though there are some fresh faces, some familiar names and team names, because we have a GlobalClan returning. I forget the last season that GlobalClan played, but by this point, the name should be pretty familiar to those of you who watch Invite TF2. They've had many rosters over the past few RGL seasons, but tonight, their squad is going to be Dingo and Anthony on Soldier, Dingo on Pocket, Anthony on Roamer. Anthony making his invite debut, known for using and abusing the Beggar's Bazooka. Gonna be interested to see if he does it here in his first ever invite match. We have Gratitude on Medic, also an invite debutant, so excited to see that. Scratch and Sandblast can be the scouts, Darty on demo.
And for the side of the Tub, you have Nick and Yosh on Scout, Dros and Pineapple on Soldier, Aiden on Demo, and Indust on Medic. And we have already gone live, so we don't have really too much time for predictions. I'll throw in a quick 4-2 for the Tub, but TC, take it away.
As we go live on this very first mid-fight, Darty is going to get a little bit bombed by Pineapple, but it's just going to have to dock in. Oh my god, Soldier flying high guy. I think that Dingo did get air shot there, but luckily he's able to stay alive. Darty does manage to take down Alexandros, is going to get pounced on over by Choke, but at least got one before he fell. Indus is going to fall, so a heal advantage for GlobalClan at the moment. They're on the opposite side, but they are going to have heal, so all damage at the meantime is going to be permanent. You can see Nicholas rushing underneath the point, trying to see if there's maybe something he can do. He wants to wrap up as a high bomb comes in. Pineapple wants to try and land. Can they get on the Gratitude? Dodging the rockets, and that is going to be GlobalClan winning the mid.
It's kind of funny in the awkward scenario. You don't expect to do a right side mid and not meet the enemy team, so it's kind of a bit of a crapshoot to see who's going to win that. And they, you know, the beginning of the Tub, they got a lot of damage on a Dingo, but it didn't end up being a kill for one, and two, Indus did indeed fall, so that was really the thing that takes the cake for GlobalClan to find themselves in the position. They have full ad. The Tub is going to be building on last. They got the Pyro, they got the Engineer. So far, they were set up in River for the most part, GlobalClan. Unsure if they'll take it, but it's looking like they will indeed go ahead and commit through this door. We'll see what Nick has in store with the Air Blast coming in. A Scout trying to go through water will succeed, but the rest of the team, it takes them a bit to get through. They will take down the Pyro. A lot of damage onto Yosh. Cap time going through. Scratch will give up his life for it, but so much gain in terms of bringing soldiers over on the point where they have the Uber. Red team ready. They're trying to chase down some frags, chasing over Anthony. They find Sandblast, who is in secret as well, coming through at the last second. Try to be a bit of a distraction, but the rest of his team has either died or left. So beginning, fine, even though the Pyro, you know, it took some time to kill, but at the end of the day, it was enough time bought to allow the red team to gain their Uber and hold on to last and maybe even find themselves out in a 2 here.
It seems like they should be able to get out onto 2. The Tub managing to get out from their last, and not going to have any Uber advantage, basically going to be even, so we might see our very first stalemate of this shortened invite season. We can shorten the season, but stalemates will forever be a part of the game, as Pineapple up in a very cheeky little hiding place far above Choke, but everyone else on GlobalClan going to be rotating over towards Big Door, at least their scouts. Maybe just trying to see if there's someone they can pick off or get someone in behind Anthony with that Beggars, maybe trying to see if he could get in through Baby Door, but it is being trapped capped up at the moment by Aiden, doing so far so well in his first ever invite game. But for the meantime, all eyes on GlobalClan to really try and make some openings.
Yeah, the Tub was playing pretty safe at the beginning, trying to find a way to, make sure they'd be okay in case the other team had Uber. But with the stalemate, both soldiers will end up dying. They had some flashy movements. Anthony was jumping around, but 2 for 1 will definitely go in Red Team's favor, especially considering all the spam that doesn't really exist on these doors. Sandblast trying to go for an Uber, gets a nice meat shot on the Nick, and will go for the extra flashes inside the choke. They get too much for now. Nick rushing Darty. He's going to take some damage. Scratch going behind, so he's not going to quite be here for the post. He really has to wrap around this fight. Is immediately beginning to burst out, going for the back half. So much cap time gained, though. So much damage on Nick and Aiden. Falls on the floor. Misses the arrow into spawn. He's dead. Oh, the red team, they had so much positioning at the beginning, but they scrambled at last second trying to push across the point and ate so much spam. I don't know who it was that actually did the damage there as they were trying to actually get across the point, but it was completely detrimental to the push, and all it takes is one little bit of everyone standing on top of each other for GlobalClan to find themselves once again in a very good position. Just drawing into last. No Uber needed. Half the team members of the side of the red team are only alive, and oh my god, once again, they find themselves on top of each other. Yosh and Indus falling in basically one rocket, as it's pretty much all she wrote for this round. It's Pineapple in a dream. 2 players to deal with. I mean, he'll take down Sandblast, but surely Dingo has this in the bag. The melee comes out, doesn't quite hit. The respawners aren't there in time, though. And GlobalClan find themselves a little bit of deja vu. Find the one moment where they're stacked on top of each other, and then once again find it the second time at spawn, leading the game 1-0.
Yeah, really huge bomb from Dingo over by the spawn door to just shut them down. And still, with that being said, a kind of admirable last hold attempt from the Tub. They were maybe a few seconds away from having their respawners just in time, but it didn't work out. Immediately, a very fast bomb from Anthony onto Aiden, using that beggars for some maybe Boshy tech and being able to whip around onto the demo. They were not expecting that whatsoever. Anthony, living for quite a while, eventually is going to go down upriver, but there is Alexandros hiding over in drop down. Everyone else from GlobalClan has made their way through choke. Alexandros has been spotted, not going to be able to get anyone, but Pineapple bombing in. They were able to take down Darty, so a demo for a soldier. I think the Tub are going to be happy with that, and being 2 up at the moment, they could try and work their way on the mid.
Yeah, they could poke around a little bit, but Anthony has already respawned, so they only have a little bit of a window, and considering the entire blue team is still all stacked here, and Anthony can get back to mid pretty quickly, they're going to go ahead and not really go for too much here, so a little bit of deja vu. We've seen this once before, this stalemate. They're playing much more normally. Previously, the Tub was sitting on top of the high ground in case there was a situation arriving where they had disad from their last hold, but now it's a pretty even stalemate, so GlobalClan might have a little bit of a more difficult time getting through, which, the last time they had a little bit more room and were unable to really find too much, but, with a couple tries, you might be able to find something. You can see them go ahead and try to clear the sticky traps from Aiden over in Big Door, because they do want to see if they can find a way to either bait out the debt or get behind, but no, they just skip through it. There's still tons of traps everywhere. The scouts are right on top.
Oh my god!
Didn't think that they would just get pushed into the corner, and both will, have a little bit of a punishment for that as bomb comes in. Not quite the shot that needed to be hit there to get the force out of the blue team, but enough damage collectively to completely push them out of the mid. And the scouts will not get the forwards. The red team, they're still on the roll here. They're going Big Door, and even though it's even, they want to see if they can make a move.
Yeah, Dingo lurking very deep over and choke. Might try to wrap around, but everyone else on the Tub has made their way in onto second, and the scouts are disconnected. Seems like the Uber going for over into choke. Nicholas just kind of body blocking the doorways there. Dingo gonna trade out for Pineapple as everyone else gets back in. Oh my, surf from Indus over onto the high ground, but the frags are falling into favor of GlobalClan. Disconnected with his demo as Nicholas just trying to stay alive. Does get a few kills. Indus with an arrow of his own, and now it's only gonna be Nicholas dies to the scattergun shots of Scratch, and GlobalClan gonna be the victors in that very scrappy fight.
Yeah, a little bit ambitious from the execution side of the red team. They saw they had the upper hand, but I think the rate at which they decided to pull the trigger and actually barrel into the opposing choke was not quite it. But these players on blue, they are alone. They do not have the forward spawn up until now, so you see the incentive for the red team to go ahead and try to fight it. Overall, it is advantageous. They do collect enough kills, especially double scouts and Doman is actually really nice, especially with the block spawn, to be able to continue to keep the train rolling. You can see Pineapple trying to jump through and immediately making space for the rest of the team, and GlobalClan are nowhere to be found. They can recognize the disadvantage that they're put in, and they don't really see a real way to go ahead and block 2 here. So it's going to go ahead and cap up. get capped up by the side of the tub. Even though things were a bit sketchy previously, they still find themselves in the situation. Don't really have too huge of advantage to work off of after everything's said and done when it comes to pushing into last. GlobalClan will be getting their Uber now. They do have the gun set up, and the spam is coming out in the river. Oh my god, Alexandra's getting tossed around. And it seems to be like we will be having our first last stalemate.
Yep, first last stalemate. Yosh immediately gonna die over in lower, and we didn't really have a lot of time to speak about these individual players, but Yosh definitely someone to keep an eye out, as Anthony is gonna go down over by the shutter doorway. Dingo just gonna back up from river. Yosh, an extremely, really good off-classer, especially on to sniper. I think invite Highlander sniper as well. I don't think he plays anymore, but he used to, and as you can see, it's come up on Pyro.
He wants to go water and take an Uber into water. They're getting some cap time too. They did with two-man as well.
Oh, they do a two-man. They managed to take down the gun, nothing else. So they just have Yosh up, and they are going to know about the Pyro now, as Darty is going to peek the shutter door. So not to say that the Pyro can't still be effective, but that element of surprise that maybe they were hoping for has been lost. And seeing a Pyro shoot flare guns down river instantly reminds me about Mela doing that exact same thing maybe a decade ago. So it's funny how history repeats itself. Hopefully it can have a bit more success for Yosh and the rest of the tub than Mela did on that off class. But for the meantime, they've got their sentry gun back up. They're just going to be trying to hold this, lock things down, as Yosh has made his way in. And even if they don't take the Uber, they can at least maybe try and air blast the stickies off. As you can see, the demo taking some stickies around the point. However, Dingo already on that ring trying to lock it down. They're maybe just trying to wait for the time. They do get the gun. They get the dispenser a couple times. The gun's super duper weak. Scratch just trying to build it, moving it out of harm's way. But here comes the Pyro on the point, getting a bit of damage and not too much cap time. But the bomb comes in. Alexandra's on the gratitude, not using there is insane. And they're managing to clean up a few players, and that's a really great hold from GlobalClan.
For how chaotic that was, that's honestly pretty impressive that GlobalClan only lost one person in that whole thing. So, able to find a way to keep their hold, and the tub, you know, valiant effort. It's always fun to see something a little bit different when it comes to the Pyro offensive strategy, but will not really work out, and they will go ahead and have to concede the second point. Back to another stalemate, though. This time the shoe is on the other foot, as the tub is now in the driver's seat, owning mid compared to the previous times where we've seen GlobalClan in that situation. So we'll see how they begin to address it. Most likely it'll be, once again, a big door strategy. Darty will get tested a little bit on an off class right now, but I mean, all you gotta do is sticky big door, so it's not that big of a deal. Brought most of their team here, able to get someone behind. Gotta be careful, don't want to die to traps, and they will indeed get Pineapple kind of behind at the big shutter, continuing to pressure and make it much more difficult for them to actually hold onto things. But blue team, they began to do a push. They brought both their soldiers over. Anthony is going to go ahead and trade with Dross, and Dingo took a little bit of damage, but it did not commit. So overall, it's just a 1-for-1 trade. Pineapple still behind, though. They have some people lingering around. Scratch is kind of looking for him, doesn't want to commit all the way. The pack is up for him, so he's going to be able to at least survive a little bit longer, but you know, he's got a lot to work against here. He does a loop-de-loop, I guess, and just he probably assumed he was getting chased like hardcore and thought he'd loop around him again, but not so lucky there. And speaking of not so lucky, Sandblast finds a trap almost immediately. I'm beginning to poke around and see if he can do some sort of counter, so we'll not find too much success there. Immediately going for a two-man, might be at purpose, accidental, but either way, Dross going on to Darty, walks him, takes him out, but they gave up 2 for that demo man. So it's a demo pick, very nice, but you know, giving up 2 players for it could be way better. Dingo making space, Scratch running through as well. They're trying to find a way to get onto Indus, but Dingo doesn't really look too lucky here.
Yeah, but now the Uber's coming a solo onto Sandblast. He's trying to chase down Yosh. Knows he's weak. Is going to be able to get that pick in. The doorways are open. Scratch lurking in behind. Might have an opportunity to get in onto Indus. Goes for the scattergun shots. Indus eats the health pack and is going to be able to stay alive, not having to use everyone else on GlobalClan being forced back onto their last. Once again, they have to give up second. So really great stuff from GlobalClan. Sorry, from the tub. Not having to use there in GlobalClan, maybe wishing they had a little bit more success with that solo Uber.
This is kind of the tub's round to lose. There's no gun. There was no time. I mean, they have a heavy up now, but they're immediately going to go straight for any player they can. Getting onto the heavy, getting him weak, push him back out of the spawn. They get Dingo as a kill. They're going for a corner cap. There's no stickies on the point. Anthony coming in from lower gets 1 scout, but doesn't quite get the other one. So 1-1, the tub tying it up.
tie game. We got a game on our hands. It was what you like to see. Sometimes in these smaller invite seasons and stuff like that, you have there's a propensity sometimes towards a lot of roles between the teams and a big skill disparity. But it looks like at the moment we've got some pretty equal teams, which is what you like to see for competitive games. As this time Pineapple is going to meet Anthony over in lower. Super duper weak, and get caught down by Scratch. As this time it's going to be no immediate demo deaths or demo aggression. There releases Dingo, bombs in, a lot of damage onto the medic, just barely surviving. Indust, we trust, stays alive, but the Sticky's rollers by his feet, disconnected from someone, is going to have to get back up as everyone else on GlobalClan pushing across the point. Sandblast gets scattered down into the ground, and Darty meets back up with his medic. They might be able to get out of here alive. Both the Tub players are fairly weak, so they're not going to be able to walk through that choke against the Demo Man, but the Tub winning the mid, at least for the meantime. Indus did die, so you're going to be expecting some GlobalClan aggression.
Anthony in a little bit early, doesn't really have his team with him yet, tries to jump away, he's fine for now. Pineapple can't quite say the same, though, will get taken down by Darty with a sticky, so Nick will be able to barely survive, though, so you know, it's going to take some time to go ahead and cap this up. They got to reverse all that cap time. It's going to make it a little bit difficult to actually use this kill on Pineapple as a serious advantage. You could try, but it's a very thin margin. You're going to have to go straight off of just the raw Uber advantage. So it's still a serious threat. You can see Gratitude. Yeah, he didn't want to walk in thinking it was going to be completely free, and he was right to do so. Darty is able to make sure that Alexandros is not going to succeed in getting that force. And this Uber is, in fact, held. And they can honestly, I mean, going through main a little bit risky at this point. Because they climbed and didn't just walk straight into the shutter, the opportunity's kind of lost.
Oh my God!
The beggars doing the work, making up the difference, and full Uber advantage once again gained, running straight through the stickies, do not care. Taking down the gun, Aiden almost a little bit caught. 5 for now, no stickies on the point. Sandbox bringing over both the soldiers. One has to get stuck in secret. Off class Galore, Yosh surfs into River, end up dying into Gratitude. Nick will die as heavy. The Indus melee kill is nice to see, but it's only going to be a consolation to a GlobalClan victory here for this round. 2-1 in their favor.
I think that's so either unfortunate timing for Indust or very fortunate timing for Anthony, because I think he jumped in as the sentry gun was upgrading, so it wasn't shooting at all. And so he just had the perfect timing to get in onto the medic. Otherwise, really great stuff from Anthony to get that drop onto Indust and be able to secure his team a really great advantage. 2-1 as we come in onto the next mid fight. Once again, no early aggression onto the demo, so both Darty and Aiden going to be resting easy just a little bit. Dingo bombing behind as Anthony comes in. A lot of damage onto Indust. Dingo with the long-range rocket going to be able to take down the experienced medic, as now they just have to try and keep Gratitude alive. A few players are falling. Once again, Darty the only one by the medic. Now Sandblast rushes back up to defend his medic. Gets good damage onto Aiden. Yosh comes back in with the pistol, able to take him down. And now anything at this point is just going to be a bonus. Doesn't get it, but that's okay. The job is done. They managed to equalize the medic situation. Actually, a little bit better for the Tub, because Indus did die quite a bit earlier. So they're going to give up middle, but they should have a good Uber advantage as they hold on to second.
Yeah, you can kind of see. Oh, Dros a little bit alone finds Sandblast, or rather Sandblast finds him, picks up a free kill. I think they would have expected probably for blue to be empty because Gratitude was such a late death. So they're like, yeah, let's just waddle in 2. It should be fine. We have heals, they don't. But Dros not quite on the same page with the rest of the team will end up being the kill that actually allows blue team to try to fight this. And Dingo bombing in, finding Indus. It's just Gratitude from here on out. The rest of the red team already back to last. They've recognized they've lost any hope of holding 2, and after Indus' death here, they might be the end of the round for them, as they only really have, actually don't even have time to build the Uber up. They're just going straight in, getting a lot of cap time, bringing the soldiers over. They've almost entirely wiped their team though. Sandblast, last one left alive. Have they bitten off more than they can chew? He's on fire, most surely burn out.
Nice
the rocket
shot.
Pineapple will take him out, and even though they made a small little mistake there on the side of the Tub, another mistake from the side of GlobalClan leads to their greed not really working out in their favor. As you know, the Tub, once again, they have their ad, they have control of 2. It's almost like nothing happened.
Yep, almost like nothing happened. Maybe a little bit better for them, because actually by the time they're in position, Sandblast will be up, but he's respawned up on an off class. He's here on Sniper. He's going to be over in his team's big door, trying to get an angle if they decide to go through Choker. He wants to peek a little bit deeper or super deep, he could maybe even go beneath the point and get something onto Big Door, which is where the Tub are trying to send their combo through.
Oh, look at
They're
Anthony.
slowly making their way.
Oh, he was on the light. I thought he was going to bomb from right straight onto them, but Indus, honestly, has already taken a lot of damage. They're bombing in. They think they recognize where the sniper is at this point. They're able to get through the big door. Darty, really low, is going to die. Dingo trying to jump away. Might be able to catch him. So actually, it's Scratch that's going to be dying. So all I got to really do here is leave one to keep the pressure on. Keep in mind, Gratitude still has his Uber, but oh my god, everyone's HP. They have to go straight up to last. They cannot even bother staying in lobby, especially because Sandblast has been on Sniper all this time. You can't really do that much except, you know, get one shot with your sightline and then just go ahead and back all the way up. So really good job and patience there from the side of the Tub. To not only take mid for free, they get second free as well. So once again, stamina situation. Got the gun going up on Scratch's side, and that's going to buy some more time to go ahead and let the clock run down as Demo Death immediately kills any chance of you getting a legitimate sack whip going out if you're the Tub.
Yep, now they have just to try to make sure that they don't allow anyone on GlobalClan to get another pick onto them. Make sure they lock down all these doorways. Keep an eye on if anyone tries to lurk through wood or through Baby Door, as Yosh is spotting that now. But they have managed to make sure none of that happens, so they've got Aiden back up with them. Pineapple taking a little bit of damage as they try to take control of River and force that sniper out of there, which they are successful in doing. No off classes actually at the moment. Sandblast deciding to swap off back onto Scout. And finally Scratch comes up onto Engineer. A little bit of a late sentry gun, so perfect timing for someone on the Tub to try and go for a soldier's hack or something like that. Don't have to worry about that pesky knockback from the sentry and the auto aim, just kind of destroying all of your jumps. But with the sentry gun being slowly leveled up, maybe eyes onto either Yosh or Pineapple to try and get something going here, as at least for the meantime, they're just happy to pressure in, kind of peek and prod these doorways as Dingo bombs up, gets a little bit of damage onto Pineapple, but not enough to get the kill. Sandblast peeking lower, trying to see if he could follow up on his soldier's damage, but no dice there, as it's just going to be a waiting game for the moment, as probably the Tub figure out what they want to try and do.
Yeah, they're in River for a long while, but they were unable to, not one, find the gun because it's in a different spot from now on, but two, they tried to see if they could get any spam out of Gratitude to make a Hail Mary like way easier, and they tried to poke around in water but didn't really decide to commit. So honestly, they've taken a lot of time off the clock, and well, they're finally going to go ahead and just straight up go for the two-man, and Aiden will end up dying to Anthony. I didn't even see. I guess he was a little bit too aggressive inside lobby. And losing 3 is definitely not what they wanted to do. Yosh going for a last hurrah will not succeed in getting the kill onto Gratitude, or getting the force rather. And you know, it's Indus who's in a little bit of hot water right now. But Anthony, who will not continue the streak and will end up dying at mid. So they gave up way more than they intended, and it was almost very scary for the side of the Tub right there.
Yeah, it was very, very scary, especially if Anthony was successful in that bomb. They're trying to re-push back in, but the Uber has come out from GlobalClan. But Tub using theirs in exchange. Both demos going to be taken down, so no demos in this post-fight. Pineapple from behind gets some really great damage. Gratitude is going to go down, and they were just trapped. Pineapple had their exit, and they just got mulched onto the point. So really great refight from the Tub, using their players behind and just kind of mulching them and catching GlobalClan off guard. And now there's going to be another great opportunity, even better, because now they're going to have a pretty sizable Uber advantage, one that if they're quick enough and they don't dally around, they should be able to take on to last pretty confidently.
Yeah, GlobalClan got their Uber forced way too early for only being down one person, and you know, you generally do an okay job at trying to keep the chokes at least a little bit locked up, but it found them in this really awkward position where they like ended their Uber on the point. Like Gratitude, his death was actually on the capture part of it instead of kind of near his own choke, where he should have been relatively safer. But ultimately, and this in this position at last, they got the pyro and gun set up. They do know its existence. They are going to go ahead and go through Shutter on the side of the Tub, trying to take it down immediately. Sandbox with the air blast, but not quite enough, as a pistol is going to be enough to kind of take things down. Nick is going to go ahead and try to corner cap it. Darty is in water, as well as Anthony. They had 3 players on the point in water. They're capping it up now. The heavy is going to get taken down. Scratch will fall. Gratitude grease up behind the last second and will survive for now, but the Uber is not quite in play. If Indus eats a rocket, they got to win it now, or it's all pretty much all of them. Gratitude alone will end up dying. Yosh on a rampage. Hello, they're both red HP. If that ball hit, doesn't matter. Aiden gets the kill. One respawner, Dingo coming in, but Yosh will clean up the cap, and Yosh and Aiden combined clean house and tie up the game 2-2.
I didn't think they were going to get that. I think at the point where Gratitude was successful in his first initial very last minute resup, I thought, okay, he's going to be able to come out, get some heals over, but I think he was just a bit disconnected from the people on the point, trying to arrow them at long range, and then Yosh got the easy 2-shot, and that spelled the end of that. But now we come in onto another mid, tied 2-2. Very close game so far, extremely back and forth. Sandblast pressuring Pineapple hard over in Big Door. Dingo, big bomb over onto Yosh, not able to find it just quite yet, but Indus goes down once again. The Anthony doing so much work in this match, but Gratitude falls as well. They have the rollers from Aiden as Sandblast gonna get bombed. Darty just remaining, is gonna find one, but he's so weak that just a scattergun shot from Nicholas gonna take him down, and that is gonna be a mid one for the Tub.
One thing I've been wanting to point out is even though so far the mids have been super one-sided, GlobalClan has been generally winning because their initiation with their soldiers has been pretty on point, with actually tipping the scales to finally like get a medic kill or whatever that allows them to just like, you know, overall win the long game. But this time, Dingo got hard countered. He landed in the opposing big door, and I guess he's done that one too many times because Pineapple was just hiding in his own big door, and when Dingo landed there, he just cleaned him up. So one of the key players on why some of the mids were so successful immediately is an unknown factor, and hey, the Tub were able to take him in off of that. So we'll see how things transpire mid-fight-wise and evolve, because surely that won't be the same thing that happens over and over again. But Pineapple is behind, did find his way. It's relatively even. The other teams actually have the Uber yet to make tons of plays, so he's just kind of biding his time and collecting some health packs. He's poked his head around at least a little bit, so Scratch is on the hunt. They know of his existence, but he is a bit alone until Yosh actually comes here and maybe gets the kill on the Scratch. They're pushing him. Dingo trying to come in, but he's a little bit too late. Pineapple is really weak, but Yosh trying to give up a little bit of HP distraction. Dingo will win that 1v1. Pineapple going in, doesn't think he can take the health pack, and will end up dying for that. So overall, even though Scratch did fall, Dingo is able to clean house, get both those players, so that is the sack wave for the Tub. And with 2 down, I mean, I guess it's really only 1 down, because Scratch is he's rolling on Sniper. He's not going to be there anytime soon. GlobalClan will not really have enough to make a serious attempt. They poked a little bit, they took a look, didn't really like what they saw, and are just going to go ahead and get ready
Scratch?
for the upcoming Sniper v Sniper duel. I didn't see he was walking straight up through Big Door. I was like checking to see what Yosh is doing. He is up on Sniper as well, and an SVS is at this point is inevitable.
Yeah, and a Sniper v Sniper duel, both very, very good snipers. Scratch over towards Big Door, and yeah, he did go for a super aggressive Big Door peek, maybe from the info of Darty, who was kind of spamming some pipes and wasn't really being contested over there. But now Yosh over in Big Door as well. Both can go for the slow peek. They both try and hit the heads, neither connecting. Pineapple very far forward. Darty as well, just trying to provide the spam on that. Anthony kind of makes his way through choke a little bit, trying to see if he can maybe try and go for the wraparound as everyone else was posted up in Big Door. Doesn't manifest, so he's just going to retreat back to the safety of his team. Dingo taking a lot of damage over in choke. That health pack basically saving his life, I think. Without that, I think the spam would have gotten him, but isn't going to go down, so still going to be full 12 all alive at the moment, as a Pineapple has once again managed to find himself behind, but is going to go down again to Dingo.
Yep, so will end up dying there as Yosh, I mean, he's got to do a lot of work here to prevent people from coming through as, you know, if he misses a shot and he can let someone get through, it could be really hard on the flank here, but I mean, it's Yosh, he should probably be a big enough threat that, yeah, GlobalClan, they don't even want to peek, they don't want to bother having an important class die or anything like that, and then it spells disaster for their hold long term on trying to deal with people behind. So they're just holding strong. They're gonna let the clock run out, which, I mean, they lost the last mid, but generally they've been pretty on top of things on the mid, so if it times out here and they have to go to another mid fight, they probably prefer that, and they can see a scenario where they just win and then push last with an ad or something like that. But Yosh will peek, will end up dying to a body shot from Scratch. That's another sack coming in from the side of the red team, and I mean, the red team doesn't really have too much time to work with here, and GlobalClan are probably, I mean, they're going to poke a little bit to see if they can get some crazy pick that allows them to snowball, but they're most definitely not going to play super risky here, because they're fine with the mid-fights, and, I mean, the Tub, probably not so much. It's not the end of the world, but considering their track record, they're trying to go for something. Pineapple, last second, bombing Gratitude, 44 HP, the hover, the force is gained. You have 15 seconds to gain some cap time. You're down a player. There's a sniper that's going to immediately force your Uber unless you completely disrespect him, and they're just going to disrespect him. They say, nah, he'll miss, and they were right. They lose someone to a trap. They still have this Uber, though, and the big risk pays off. They're taking second.
That is down to the wire. kind of the worst case, maybe not the worst case scenario, but one of the worst case scenarios for GlobalClan. But really great execution from the Tub there, managing to get in onto second. They keep their Uber, and now they can go forward on to last, as they already have 50% on GlobalClan, so building pretty well. But the Uber comes in through River. The Pyro doing a lot to air blast them. The Sentry Gun staying up for so long, finally going to be taken down, and they haven't gotten anyone. No cap time on the point. Finally, Scratch does die over on the Pyro, but it doesn't look like they're getting much else. But Nicholas got so much cap time on the point, they just need to touch it once more. They're going to be throwing their bodies onto it, and Pineapple, huge damage, gets it 3-2.
That was so scary for how much they just straight up missed on the Pyro. But the thing that really takes the cake is, once again, we're finding GlobalClan like completely willing to put 3 people on the point at the same time and just eat the same damage. So even when things don't like go well for the Tub at the beginning, if they can at least get that far enough to get the initial cap time, it's ringing true for them converting rounds. They find themselves in a 3-2. On to another mid. Aiden pressured a lot. The soldier aggression is once again arriving. Anthony will indeed die this time, and Dingo not long for this world in terms of being able to persist the mid. He uses his last bit of HP to go ahead and jump out, and that very quick death that was that came to GlobalClan was enough for them to kind of cut their losses. And I think the Tub are starting to really figure out these mids in terms of kind of thwarting the soldier aggression in more than just one way, because that's a separate way than we saw them do it last time to be able to take the mid. So by the thinnest of margins, but enough to take the point, they're able to get that underway. But Dross, on the first attempt at going for the sack wave, he will indeed get caught by Anthony, so no luck there as we find themselves once again another stalemate with GlobalClan. I mean, they're poking around, but will they actually go for a counter sack in this situation? They haven't quite yet.
Yeah, doesn't look like they are going to. I mean, Scratch kind of peeking over towards the big door, kind of protected by the stickies from Darty, but they're not going to expend anyone else. Only 42 seconds until extended overtime, and it's going to be a 4-something game unless the Tub something happens in the next kind of 10 seconds that immediately just kind of wipes out GlobalClan's defense. So probably going to be a 4-something a game. My guess, maybe a 4-2 game, because the Tub looking pretty good. I think that was your prediction, Jared, so props on you for kind of getting that one, if that is indeed what happens. But they have got a lot of people over towards big door, just trying to pressure it, maybe send someone in behind. No, Yosh actually up on Sniper, missed that one, and so he's going to be taking a shot. They definitely know about it, and the thing with having a sniper and playing super close is, if you are the defending team, if you think they're close enough, you can just rip an Uber right in. And we know Sandblast, he's not afraid to take a solo Uber, one of the best scouts in the business at doing it. Oh my god, Pineapple just locks him up, gets the air shot, a 1-2 tap like that, and that is disaster.
Oh, they're being greedy with it too. They're just walking in. The little Scratch behind finds Yosh. A little bit too late on the timing though, so back to last they go. And no one really went into mid either, so really good job from the side of the Tub. They didn't just say, oh, let's go in and use and kill people, because that would not have been the play. There were so many people that were just ready to just leave through upper, and they would have wasted their Uber. So they find themselves positioned now. They've only just used now up the stairs. No corner capping. They're trying to find some kills. Yosh will die in the backside. Corner capping now, bringing Anthony over. There's so many people around the point now. Aiden taking a lot of damage, will end up dying. This is a little bit too ambitious. Maybe they should have gone for a little bit more cap time earlier. It was so good at the beginning, and they were so close to clearing it out with the plays from GlobalClan, and as well as kind of capitalizing on the mistakes from the Tub, finds themselves still alive in this game, reclaiming their 2, probably taking mid for free unless Yosh goes crazy right now, and they have an ad for later as well.
Yosh would have to do something very, very wild, but it seems like they've kind of got that locked down. Actually, as I say that,
right now. He
could peek
oh,
if
no.
they have any eyes. Oh, no, he misses the shot, and he is going to backspawn. That could have been the opportunity for double disaster if you were GlobalClan, having your medic taken away in 2 very explosive ways. But now they can be able to keep Gratitude alive. Dingo, however, is going to go down, trying to shove his way through big door. That's not going to stop GlobalClan too much. They should still be able to get in in onto second, but it does mean that they're probably not going to be able to roll in onto last. And actually, the Tub maybe want to try to fight this Pineapple, making his way jumping, making a lot of space. They do almost have Uber, and they actually force out Gratitude fairly early there. Indus very weak, is going to use getting bombed by Anthony, so good use there. They find one onto Sandblast. Scratch, Anthony still in. Dingo jumping behind. So both soldiers on GlobalClan going in behind.
That's why they're so confident. There's a gun at last. Dingo's just alone in lobby, kind of useless at this point. Getting the Sandblast cure early on was so good as well. So they're able to kind of find their way here. Darty wants this medic though. They know that Indus is like half HP and all the Anthony bomb. He's about to kill someone. He's trying to find the Mark's Garden. He gets it! It's just a raw melee kill. He gives up his life for it though, and Darty goes full send into the medic. He wanted Indus in the very beginning, and he will barely escape with his life. The scrappiness, they find a way to actually hold on to two, and this late Indus death means no heals to allow the Tub to actually persist at all in this fight. And the extra kill on the Pineapple, I mean, long term probably better for the red team because Scratch did indeed die, and will not quite be there when it's time to have the Uber, unless they're just slow at building. But overall, GlobalClan, they're on top right now. Gotta mind this gun. I mean, as much as this gun prevented the back cap from Dingo, which is good, it's also like you had an engineer that couldn't refight because they were stuck at last, which is a bit unfortunate. So it's a little bit of a double-edged sword there. But the Uber's in play now. GlobalClan, all they gotta do is pick a door and they could potentially tie this game.
Oh my god, GlobalClan coming up on the offensive heavy Marxist dream at the moment. And we're gonna have to see if it works out. Darty takes down the sentry gun, so that pesky gun is no more. Alexander's getting bombed over towards the shutter. Really great damage from Darty, and Anthony taking him down as they try and get back out. But getting mulched, a lot of damage coming their way. Pineapple, Darty on the heavy weapons guy, taking down quite a few, but they do get their Uber in time. They have a lot to do. Yosh has a lot of players to clean up, and I don't think he's going to be able to really do it in time. Now they all mulch forward, and it's just not going to be enough. Not enough offensive capabilities at that point in time. So it's going to be a 3-3 tie game, Jarrett. Whoever wins this next round is going to be the victors of this match.
Yep, this could be the last mid. It all depends on if we see a round reset or something of the like. So far, we've seen the Tub start to kind of adapt their mids and start to win them more, but GlobalClan, they still have their opportunity to try something different. So this could really be the thing that seals the deal and sets the pace for the rest of this round. As immediately Gratitude taking a lot of damage. And Scratch immediately dying as well, but Anthony bombing in, finds Indus. The medic is dead, going for the air shot, doesn't quite hit, but they need to take Gratitude out of the picture. Darty at 1 HP will indeed die to the sticky, and they're on the chase. Pineapple surging forward. They find him in the corner. They've cut off their exit. They can't really find a way except going up top, of the bombs coming in. Aiden jumping up top, the shoulder bomb. Gratitude is dead. It's such a late death in favor of the red team. Dingo on top of the hill, trying to fight Yosh, but able to pistol him down, and Scratches alone in lobby as the respawner trying to push Aiden out of there, and will succeed in getting him away. Will not succeed in getting the kill. So I mean, they really sold out for that meta pick, and they tried their hardest to escape, but they were cut off like nobody's business. GlobalClan, they wipe on their second, and even though they had early deaths on the side of the Tub, they find themselves with a very small add-in and taking the enemy's second absolutely for free.
Yeah, really great stuff from, you'd have to say, the soldiers on the Tub just being so aggressive there, getting in Pineapple, immediately jumping through choke, and then the follow-up from Alexandros on to Gratitude, just kind of securing that meta kill when they desperately needed it to get them a good foothold in here. But it's not all lost for GlobalClan. They're actually building Uber fairly well, only 20 disad roundabout, so this Uber from the Tub has to be pretty clinical if they don't want to have to deal with an Uber later in on this fight, as they're already making their way through. Anthony gonna get caught out. That's not a great way to start. Yosh does die over on the point, trying to get some cap time, but Scratch taken down as well, so they're slowly getting picks, but they do have Uber. They're getting a lot of cap time onto the point as well. They're just getting so much of it, but they have lost a lot of players in response, so they are just gonna back out with the remaining of Nick, Aiden, and Indus. It is going to be even Uber's. Dingo just kind of peeking the shutter door, and they're probably going to wait for these players to get up their soldiers, and by the time they do, there should still be a little bit of cap time on the point, but now you're going to be going into a even Uber situation, and even with that cap time, it's not a surefire bet.
Yeah, and so far the Tub have not had that great result at trying to break stalemates when they're in the lead. We saw it kind of on mid, how it kind of took forever for him to find something, and the same could be said for last in particular, which is what we're on. But Sniper, Now, pretty volatile. All it takes is one nice shot, and that can snowball really from there. And Yosh it's definitely hit plenty of nice shots before as he's in main right now. Sandblast may bait it a little bit. First shot rings out, doesn't quite hit the mark. Sandblast on 2 HP, try not to get hit from across the map by any form of hit scan. But we'll be fine for now as the body shot rings on to Gratitude. Let him get shot. He's shot a second time down to 50 HP. Gonna go ahead and resup, so no heals for the blue players for just a moment, but I don't think it's gonna get taken advantage of too much by the side of the tub. So they're fine for now. Anthony has to go ahead and resup. Gotta go ahead and make sure your beggars is all full because the dispenser isn't quite up yet. But still, you hear shot after shot ring out. The gun was taken down. Shot on a dingo. One less spamming class. Immediately sending in the soldier. The revenge crits take down Alexandros. Second one though, Gratitude or Little Leak hits the one surf. It's fine for now. 64 HP in a dream is enough. And with both soldiers down, you can see them getting a little bit adventurous. They're poking about. Scratch has his revenge crits, but it does not work out as Yosh hits the shot and sends the rest of the revenge crits to the grave. So kind of immediately halts the push before it even begins from GlobalClan.
Yeah, he was just peeking in the lobby and he took one step too far. Yosh shut that down, and now they're going to be trying to make their way forward. Yosh still up on Sniper, and you know he's feeling it, so you got to be feeling the pressure. If you are GlobalClan, you can't let him get too many shots like that over. Yeah, the infamous hero shot over on that little awning at the end of River. I can get a really nice view of the medic, even if he's back over where Gratitude is. My sentry gun doesn't reach there, so if they aren't spamming it properly, it is open season. Yosh over in lower. Sandblast maybe trying to think, how could I rush him, but isn't going to do so. They're getting a bit of damage onto the sentry gun to trying to peek and prod through a locker, through that little shutter area right there, as once again Yosh over in River with a very cheeky angle against another Gratitude. He gets the headshot on with that little cheeky angle. You can barely see a sliver by the dispenser, and that is going to be a huge opportunity for the Tub.
Going in. There's still room for them to screw this up, though. We've seen this before. They're able to get the gun. Scratch is most certainly dead. They're missing a lot, though. Oh, no. They could kind of throw this. Aiden ends up trading. Indust is fallen. They miss so much. The banner from Gross might even come into play. Yosh hits a nice shot. Never mind. Yosh is on a 5K. He's just going to end up carrying them. Gratitude, not long for this world. Should likely end up dying. It's only Darty left alive versus 2, but they're both weak. Dross dies. Darty lives.
What?
They messed it up. It's gonna reset. He can't even get to 2 in time. He's trying his hardest, but he's just a little demo man. He's walking his way through.
There's a bit of cap time. They could have gotten to 2 in time, but
it's a reset.
That's true.
The red team is just missing shots in their opening Uber. This has happened like 3 times now, where they've Ubered in and be like, oh yeah, they didn't get this kill, and then I look at the opponent's health bar and it's just not falling fast enough.
That is so unfortunate after all the work that Yosh did. Like you said, he was on a 5K, absolutely coming in clutch, or just opening it up for his team, not able to close it out. So it's still 3-3. Whoever wins this round, however many rounds it takes, is going to be the victor. Gratitude taking a little bit of early damage on this fight, is going to have to play a bit far back. Anthony stuck over in his big door. Pineapple trying to block him out, is very, very weak. Sandblast going over to chase, not finding the kill. Finally, Scratch drops down on the low ground to do it. So a little bit of high ground advantage for the Tub, but I guess losing that player is going to be enough to send them back over onto second. So GlobalClan winning the mid. They didn't win the last one, but they have won this one, so it's going to give them already in a much better position to try and close out this game in their favor.
Yeah, they really tried to hard predict when Anthony was going to come out of his own big door and bomb, but they were a little bit mistaken on the timing. Ended up Pineapple giving up his life kind of out in the open, getting chased down by one of the scouts, so they go ahead and back up. But Scratch tried to go behind with Dingo. Pineapple get the one, but will fail at getting the other. So overall, 1-for-1 trade here as Dingo has gotten behind, as both scouts are actually chasing behind. As soon as he calls this might be a little bit scary. They brought their beam back as well, so that means that things are a little bit sketchy for holding too, but the blue team does not look super duper prepared. They're kind of here, but not quite ready and posed to go ahead and go in after losing 2 players. Especially because they have the sniper rolling out as well, so not really a good opportunity to send a whole lot of people in. Anthony needs ammo as well. He's swinging his melee around. He barely's got a little small ammo pack, but I think he's relatively fine for now. Is Scratch. We'll see how many shots he's able to take here in big door. He's just revealing himself now. First shot is always most important. I think he's kind of shown the dot. I don't know if they've seen it. Oh, they've definitely seen it now. We'll see what they begin to do in terms of trying to deal with the sniper. You can't just let him take shot after shot after shot. Either got to go into him or find a way to push the choke. And Aiden's trying to hold on to the fort, taking a lot of damage though. Definitely needs tons and tons of help. This Dingo is inside lobby, applying some extra pressure, and they're trying to push a choke. Dross will die. The overall trade out with Anthony, but this does not really bode well for the side of the Tub. They get the kill on the Dingo after backing up, though. I think Dingo thought that they were going to commit into choke and misjudges that, and it just ends up with both soldiers being dead. There is a sniper on the field. He hasn't quite hit the shot yet. Up and down, he gets the headshot on the Ada, but no drop or anything of the sort. They're all bunched up together. Eats up the health back. Sandblast is going to die. I think another headshot maybe rang out onto someone, one of the explosive classes on the side of the Tub, but they are extremely disrespecting this Scratch sniper. Or I think before it was Sandblast. Either way, they do not give a care that GlobalClan has a sniper. I mean, Yosh probably cares now because he just died, but so far they're like, nah, they won't headshot into us. He'll live, and they just walk him through, and everything's fine. And eventually, that might not bode well for them too much, but it's worked out at least for now. They won't get the immediate sack with Yosh's death, but they do own mid. But that's not good, though.
Yeah, Scratch getting the headshot onto Aiden, and that is going to open things up really, really well for GlobalClan. They're already getting in through Big Door, as they wanted to try and rush in. Nick maybe trying to go in through choke, but no, he does get the headshot by Scratch.
As foreseen.
The disrespecting is a little bit too much at the moment. Scratch eventually getting that shot off and showing why you do have to respect the sniper, even if you can get some cheeky ground by not doing so. So GlobalClan in a really great opportunity, kind of the mirror of what the Tub were in the last round to try and close this out, as they're going to be making their way in. They do have a sniper up, but you know, if the sniper's feeling himself, they can definitely work with that over onto last.
Kind of just depends on the angle that you take versus where they predict you coming from and see if you get stuffed or not. They're bringing a 4-through shutter, bringing people behind as well. Not really finding the sniper quite yet, but they're able to get maybe some cap time soon. Anthony is going to die to bring a soldier over. Aiden is there in water, immediately dies, so no downman available, and 2 people inside water does not bode well for the red team. They are nowhere near getting the Uber. They have to go absolutely huge right now. Sandblast will end up dying. Nice reflect from Yosh, taking down Dingo. Shots onto Darty, bringing him really low. Air shot into Dross, takes him out. The scout main pipes. The detonator doesn't quite hit. He's on fire now, though, and will eventually die. There's only 2 left alive, now 3, I guess, from the side of GlobalClan, as they go ahead and back up, recognizing that, I mean, they really have to play off their sniper or nothing here. He gets the headshot on a Pineapple, slows thing down to the big shutter. They got to find a way to get through to take this sniper out of the equation, otherwise the blue team's just going to walk straight through. And Pineapple going in will most certainly die, and even though they have an ad, it doesn't really bode well for pushing out of last.
No, it does not. Pushing out of last is dangerous at the best of times, and especially when you are down a player, it can be very, very unadvisable. So they're just going to go back onto last. We got a little bit less than 3 minutes before a potential round reset, so a lot of time for Scratch and GlobalClan to try and work their way in. Scratch over in River, trying to go for a little bit of the peak, is going to think better of it and try and go for a different angle. Alexandros has made his way through wood, and they have not spotted him just quite yet, so he's going to be jumping up, going around. He has an opportunity for an amazing flank.
It's perfect. It's perfect.
He's waddling forward. Okay.
It was perfect, not anymore. Scratch takes down Yosh. Will end up dying for it. There is a scout in water, though. I don't think a whole lot of people's side is going to get tons of cap time. Be able to bring it over to eventually get this kill, but that's so much cap time gained. So overall, 2 for 2. Blue team could just throw a soldier on it, and that could be really sketch. But, I mean, they have Pineapple sitting on it. That's one less person that can kind of keep the doors locked down, so Dingo's free to kind of poke and prod and see if he can get anything. But the gun is still alive. It's going to be a thorn in their side. Nick is actually eating spam on purpose to make sure that Yosh can get enough metal in time to actually heal the sentry, because he just used it to build up a dispenser. And we see the first spy of the match, Sandblast. The timing might be a bit awkward unless this happens really, really fast. They might get paranoid of why a sack isn't happening, but it's Gully Wash. It's not that hard to pressure cook. Dingo in water should be enough to keep them on their toes. They might even get the kill on the Pineapple. Not quite, actually, but yeah, we'll have to see what Sandblast is cooking up here, and he cooks up death.
He does get Pineapple by kind of forcing Pineapple to kill himself with the blast damage, so that's going to be okay. Sandblast thinking he had his gun out, he only had his butter knife out instead. Alexander's going in for a super high bomb onto Gratitude, gets a little bit of damage, is going to be able to get the force. Gratitude not that weak, but maybe just the threat of more damage is going to force out that Uber, and they're not going to be able to get anyone. Sandblast lurking over in wood is going to back out through Baby Door, and there's only 6 60 seconds left, and Vatub in a tricky position. Do they want to push out, or do they just want to hold on and try and go for the round reset? With Yosh building up a sentry gun, I think we have our answer. They are going to be staying on last, and it is enough time for GlobalClan to get an Uber, so we can see one final last push attempt from GlobalClan before a round reset. They are going to be going in to an Uber as well, but you know, we've seen stranger things before. Teams that have failed to push several times, doing it in the last seconds versus a full Uber and getting a lot of cap time on the point. It's a great way to start it up. Anthony's still staying alive, is going to be taken down. No soldiers at all for the tub, and a 2 down as well for GlobalClan, so whatever happens next could be a very scrappy fight.
Popping in, getting the gun right off the bat. Nice headshot from Yosh, making Dingo not be in the equation long term. And Darty dying as well. This pushes over for Blue. I mean, there's the overtime that's going to make things last a little bit longer. They can maybe throw themselves at it, but they probably won't, just considering they don't want someone to actually go to 2 and cap it up. So we are indeed going to see a round reset here probably. They're going in at the very last second, see if maybe the tub kind of screw up, but it's really hard to screw this up. It happens maybe 1 out of 10 times, and GlobalClan would not be lucky tonight in regards to that last hurrah. But overall, stalemate 3-3 still. We go on to another mid, and we'll see how things continue to evolve. GlobalClan kind of took things back when they changed up slightly what they were doing in terms of the timing of their initiation. I think the tub kind of jumped the gun a bit, and it ended up with Pineapple being dead. But we'll see if the timing builds out well in their favor this time around, as once again, it could be the very last mid.
It could indeed. Darty getting pressured just a little bit at the start of things. Dingo wrapping around into his own banana. Anthony once again kind of lurking in big door. Now going to be going forward with that explosive Beggar's Bazooka. Getting some good damage. The fadeaway bomb from Alexandros and the fade bomb as well from Pineapple. Doing a lot of damage. Anthony commits. It's going to be Scratch actually first finding Pineapple. And through the bombing on the Gratitude. Gets hit, but Darty with the air pipe a little bit too late. But they have already just wiped everyone on the tub. Gratitude gonna be a consolation prize, and you can already see Dingo getting into water right now, and he's going to be lurking, just trying to maybe see if he can get a little bit of an off timing onto these respawning GlobalClan players. But it seems like Pineapple might think that something's up, as he is already checking secret and might check. He is going to spot out Dingo, so very great initiation from Dingo to try and get into that position really early, but maybe they just had an inkling that something suspicious was afoot, and they are able to take him down.
Yeah, I mean, with that many people that live after mid, you know they don't need that many people to lock down to. If anyone was going to go for a play, it would be some sort of water play. So play too many pugs, people trying to do sneaky stuff, that it just ends up being hardwired in your brain to clear it if your team's not going to try to go for 2. And there are most certainly too many people alive at the end of that mid to go for 2, despite the medic death. So they find themselves on last, the tub, trying to hold on for as long as possible. That worked out well for them last time, but GlobalClan are once again going to try to go for more sniper plays. Scratch up in main right now, trying to take a shot maybe on Aiden. Gets the body shot, reveals himself. Aiden's fine for now. Gonna take the mini pill and ask for some heals. So they're okay long term, but they can't just let the sniper take shot after shot onto the gun. They gotta try to find a way to keep it alive. It's getting really low. It's step 1 really. They're able to bring it back at least a little bit to make sure it can be alive for at least a little bit longer. But this threat's still on the field. They're gonna have to find a way to deal with it. Either pressure the sniper directly or go opposite onto the flank, something, because you can't let him be something that exists for this long, or eventually body shot onto Pyro. Still, giant threat. Something's got to give. But so far, no dice.
Yep, no dice at the moment. Scratch still up, as we do get a little bit of cap time, and that's something that GlobalClan have been really good at doing as Dingo tries to go in for the bomb. Dispenser almost taken down. They've been really good at getting early cap time before all of these kind of pushes, or kind of just maintaining a lot of time on the capture point, really limiting the tub's options, and if they want to push out or if they want to try and get into lobby. But it's going to be Pineapple and Aiden both going down, and now this is going to be maybe not disaster zone, but close to it, as they don't have the demo to lock things down. The Uber going to be coming in. Alexander's taking the solo, kind of trying to lock them down towards Shutter. Actually doing a really great job of just stuffing the doorway and making sure they don't get any room whatsoever. They're going to reinitiate over through balcony, and they're kind of getting mulched, not finding a lot of room. Really great stuff. Yosh with those crits going to be able to take down one of his soldiers, and it's looking like a pretty good hold. But Anthony on the point, no one's going to stop it.
Second. I think he had the pain train as well. So that's especially, I saw times 2 is like there's a scout back there, but no, last second scrappiness. I think they saw that other teams leaving the lobby, let's go, chase them, but the last second, I didn't see if it was water, if it was secret, but either way, when the cap's that, close, you got to be really careful. And 4-3 goes in GlobalClan's favor. Hard fought, went a little back and forth in terms of who was, taking the initiative and who was on top of things in regards to the mid fights. But overall, they're able to edge it out at least enough to make sure the victory does end up being theirs at the end of the day.
Yep, GlobalClan going to be the victors 4-3. Super duper close. And I was just back and forth. I mean, it's funny because you were talking about the mids a lot. Looking at the mid fights, you can see GlobalClan for the majority of it having a really solid grasp on the mids. They won the first 4 in a row, and then finally, like you said, kind of the Tub were able to kind of respond and figure out what the soldiers were doing. They won the next 3, and then GlobalClan responded, winning the next 2. But just looking at the scoreline, back to super close all throughout. And, of course, it is Gully. The soldiers are going to do well, but I think, the soldiers on really both teams were just kind of having really great standout performances. I mean, Pineapple and Alexandros making so much space for their team, and Anthony proving that the Beggars can win games. I mean, I'm not sure if the Beggars is maybe the result for that final play, might be the pain train, but using off classes to the best of his ability, going to get his first ever invite win. So shout outs there.
Yep, definitely did a really good job, and it's a nice showcase from both these teams on what's to come, considering that there's only so many teams that they're playing this season, but to see that these two are able to have a really nice game, it's a really nice showcase on what could be coming later in the season as well for the other matches beyond for other teams, as well as when these teams play a rematch as well potentially, because you have playoffs and all that to go through. And with the talent on both these teams, you can probably expect to see both of them there. The seeds, to be decided, but obviously it'd be kind of surprising to see neither of them show up. So definitely a whole lot to be excited about based off of what the Tub and especially GlobalClan showcased here today.
Yeah, and like you said, we didn't have a lot of time to speak about it earlier, but there's only 5 teams in invite. I believe it's still going to be a 4-team playoff, so there's only one team not going to make the cut going into playoffs, and judging by what we've seen. I think the 6th team died. I could be incorrect. But yeah, Omnicide is no longer. So yeah, it's just going to be Witness Gaming, Zhao, Froyotech, Vitub, GlobalClan, the 2 of those we saw tonight. And then Trap Nest is the 5th and final one. But I think I'd say it's pretty good for the Tub. And GlobalClan making their way in the Tub. Already had a game earlier, a 4-1 against Trap Nest, and they won that over on Sunshine. And considering that teams only have 1 game against everyone else, all of these wins matter so much more because you don't have a chance in the regular season to maybe get a little bit of revenge or equalize the scoreline if it were to come down to that. So all these games matter a lot more than normal. It's almost like a little mini LAN, when you think about it, just kind of like a group stage, and then you got immediately into playoffs. So that's kind of the joys of the mini season, and not a lot of room to mess up. But the Tub, they're going to be taking the loss. GlobalClan, the win, but still really strong showing from both teams. Yep.
And if you're looking for more action, the mini season has indeed started. There should be more games that are hopefully just as close as this coming next week. Default days, Tuesday and Thursday. I don't know which ones we're casting yet, but there's definitely at least a couple good ones to pick between. So if this game has gotten you excited, it's definitely the time to get back into watching, because you have obviously Poland coming up eventually somewhere around week 3 for us as well. So that will be exciting, and it's all building up to quite the adventurous winter and springtime for TF2, all building up to the summer as well, where you have the whole RGLN and all that. So it's definitely looking good for the future of watching all these teams clash and get to see who comes out on top. But I think for the most part, that's going to be all she wrote for tonight. Any final shout-outs or thoughts before we go ahead and close things out, TC?
No, just shout outs to you, Jarrett. Really great to cast with you again. It's been a little bit of a extended off season, so it's great to be back at it with you. Shout outs to Dolphin, as always, doing all the production work, is the GOAT. And then shout outs to the teams for playing, and shout outs to The High Five Land team, I forget where they're going by, and the Tech for going over to Poland and representing North America. Hopefully, we get a little bit of a better result than last time at Denver. So excited to see how that plays out.
Definitely a shout out to the teams for playing this mini season as well as the adjacent seasons before and after. Before you had the map thing, and after you'll have a super secret project season that will probably be publicly announced eventually. It might already be, but I'm not. I haven't kept track of it, so I'm assuming it hasn't. Shout out to everyone who watched with us tonight and who intend to watch the large amounts of TF2 content that'll get produced out through the rest of February and into March as well. And that's pretty much it for us tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Jarrett, casting with TC Mono with Dolphin on production. Thank you and good night.